All right. What's up, everyone? It is the Richmond Toyota Owners 400 NASCAR breakdown. We're taking a look at FanDuel, DraftKings, Fantasy, all that good stuff. I got Taco here. We got a crazy race. So we were just talking about it. Let's get right into this thing, Taco, and give me the basics of this track. Richmond, we're at a shorter track, short flat, 3/4 of a mile lap.
Mhm.
Lots of laps to go around. How's this one go down?
So, if you were to ask me what the most predictable track on the circuit was, my answer will pretty much always be Richmond. It's very single file, like absolutely one groove on the inside here. Um, Definitely a NASCAR race. You can even see it in the projected cautions in Vegas. Like 4 has been like the lowest that we've seen all year, non-stage cautions. And yeah, of course, there's going to be maybe a little bit more mix up now that we've had no qualifying, no practice. Usually those two things are absolutely massive here, especially qualifying, because this is probably the track where starting position matters the most. Where if you qualify up front, you're probably going to run up front most of the race. If you look at track histories of guys, it's the same like 10 dudes finishing the top 10 year after year after year after year after year. It's a Toyota owners race. Obviously, the Toyotas all fucking crush here. First time that we've seen Hendrick not be favored in a while. JGR is a slight favorite over Hendrick here at what are they plus?
Let's actually put
plus
that up on
230.
screen. Yeah, so
and Hendrick plus 280. Stuart Haas plus 550, which is kind of a massive line for them. But of course, that's because Kevin Harvick is probably like you can see Kevin Harvick 10-8. When's the last time we've seen this? It's been so long since we've seen Kevin Harvick get priced up. But it's actually
it's based on the Vegas odds. I mean, Vegas.
Yeah, he's like the co-favorite. I mean, Harvick resurrecting that career after the last few years have been super rough on him. But yeah, he crushed both of the Richmond races last year. Got 49 fast laps at Phoenix. Can you believe that? Kevin Harvick, the guy who's allergic to fast laps for 2 straight years, it's really putting it together in his swan song season.
I noticed yesterday in the Xfinity race that I mean being in the lead is like getting fast laps. It's going hand in hand here. It seems like.
I'm just looking at the historical data here. I mean, you can see the pole sitter advantage clearly. Although we have a fake pole sitter with no qualifying, absolutely fake. So that may be a little bit interesting, but.
All right, so let's get into some of these details. Let's look at some historicals before we get into like this. So the way I like to do this is we'll take a look at historical. What has happened?
You scroll over to the left a little bit and look at specifically the pole sitter. 74% of the time they're in the top 6 fantasy points, averaging 93 lead laps, 42 fast laps. Again, usually it's a meritocracy here. But yeah, they're scoring 60 fantasy points 68% of the time. That's massive.
What's interesting is not just the pole sitter, but 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 have a really high propensity for being in the top 6. Like that is very high historically. That is not the usual.
Because they're always the same 6 dudes.
Well, because they qualify
every single time. Yeah, and qualifying usually just guides those guys directly to the front. That's kind of what we see time after time after time here.
So one interesting thing here is this is not a track for shitters, and normally. So the first thing I like to look at is, all right, what are the shitters doing? By shitters, we mean, the drivers in the back, the under 50 driver rating guys, right? Because that's who allows us to kind of play some other people. And the history here has been absolutely abysmal for low rating drivers. Only 12. They're falling laps behind here, Taco. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, it's like 3/4 of a mile track. Like they're just going to get lapped. Very, very, very single file. And those guys know to just get out of the way of the leaders. They're going to go many laps down. You see about like 20 cars finish on the lead lap, 15 to 20 sometimes. It could be pretty rough for them. So, yeah, we really just anyone starting 20th or worse tends to not do the best here.
Here's an interesting thought. I mean, I guess this is more strategy for when we're breaking down the drivers. But with all of the sort of like the salaries are jacked up here for some mediocre drivers. Is there a scenario where some car who's really cheap, but 2 laps behind, but still finishing in like 27th, but allowed you to afford some stuff. Is there a scenario where that winds up nuts?
I mean, just out of frustration, I'm really considering just playing Ty Dillon just because the salaries are so tight this week. I mean, historically, the more laps there are in a race, the higher price the top drivers are. It's just there's so many 10K plus guys that are like really good. And the fact that Bell's starting, in the back half, and he's one of the better options this slate, and he's like 10K. I mean, you just run out of salary so quick when you're making lineups this week. And, it's really forcing in like the few decent cheap plays that we have here. I think they're just going to be over-owned. And I don't know, it's going to be tough to even afford people. So maybe this is a week where you almost say just, fuck it. I'll play a scrub at like min price and just free up salary for the rest of my board.
That sounds a little
hopefully I can get like 3 Dominators in there instead of 2. Because like right now it almost makes you pick like 2, maybe 3 Dominators at the most, and then having to punt multiple times and 4 Dominators. I mean, forget about it unless you're going to play like a really non-preferred Dominator or just a place differential guy. It's very tough.
When you look at the implied top 5s, even the implied top 10s, it really does seem to go like DraftKings did a pretty decent job of pricing here, which is interesting.
They knew the right guys to price down that just aren't good at the track, like Reddick, Trackhouse. They completely flopped
weirdly
last
priced
year.
Down. I think
Blaney also sucks at this track, but he's amazing at this track type. That's kind of like the thing we're saying.
Oh,
with
man.
Both him and Chastain.
Got to go with if it's Stenhouse season. Oh my goodness, right? Maybe a little.
Was it last week all over again? I don't know.
Yeah, I know that
you can tell the starting positions are highly based off of where they finished last year or last week at the road course. So it's completely fucked up. You've got Stenhouse starting the top 10, Gilliland starting 13th, LaJoie starting 16th. Just a lot of complete throwaways.
It's definitely not Stenhouse season for me, bro. I'm sorry. It's not that season. It's Todd Gilliland 5 laps down season, I think, also. So, yeah, this is a tough one. You had that thought of like, hey, maybe we should just throw Ty Dillon in some lineups at 4,700, and he's so freaking cheap. But, like, are you going to have fun watching a race where you've got a guy that's 4 laps behind, and you're just like, oh, man, I hope he passes fucking Fefo.
I don't even think you play him and give a shit where he finishes. You play him just to free up salary.
And this is just so I understand fully, this is a non-carnage event.
Oh no, this is probably like the lowest of any track I can really think of. I mean,
the lowest.
Let me even try. Yeah, lowest carnage. I really can't even think of a track that has like lower carnage than Richmond.
I feel like we got screwed out of practice here. Like this would have been the perfect track to like study the practice speed and.
But at the same time, that would create chalk. That's why ownership is so spread out. No one really knows what to do here.
I want that chalk, man. I embrace it. Fucking eat it, chew it.
Yeah, this would be a big eat the chalk week, which it's not really been an eat the chalk season. It's more of a chalk explosion season. But
this was the week.
There's no clearly defined. Chalk even. I mean, Bell might be too pricey to be place differential. Logano and Blaney, they're going to have reasons to not roster them even where they're starting.
With how slow
this clear favorite to win or lead laps.
Let me ask you, with the difficulty of moving forward in Richmond, just generally, it's hard to get around over there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what is a realistic expectation for a Bell? Can he get to the front and lead this pack? Like, he's really good at this track, right? Like, he's got a history. Second, I mean, he's second, sixth, third, fourth. Brady loves him. Is this a guy that we kind of can expect to take the lead at some point, or it's too much space 21st, even in a race that's 400 laps, like, is it 100 laps in before he would even have a shot at being towards the front? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, probably. And you could just get off the place differential entirely here. I mean, the projections are going to be kind of like mean performances. So these guys like Bell, Logano, Blaney are probably going to do pretty decently most of the time. But they're not going to have the chance that like a Byron or a Bowman or Kyle Busch has of like, leading a bajillion laps,
And once they're leading early, it's so fast, the laps. This is part of, I think, what people don't realize when you go from, 2.5 miles. We just saw,
we
the
had a
circuit of the
4-mile
Americas.
track.
I
We
mean, the
were just
circuit of the
at, yeah.
Americas, you'd be watching, you'd change the channel for 2 minutes, go have a sip, and then you're like, bloop, a lap pass. Like this one, it's like, you didn't even turn on the race yet because your DoorDash guys at the door, wings, pizza, you're watching a race, got to have beer, wings, and pizza. That's what you got to have that. And you come back upstairs like lap 17. You're like, what the hell happened? What'd I miss? Nothing. You didn't miss anything. It's just Bowman in the lead for 17 laps. So, all right. Any other thoughts on the research station? We could take a quick browse here through, some track history numbers just to like kind of emphasize the point. But like, take a look. Chandler Smith hasn't been here, but if we look at like a McDowell on down, I think the universal it's a lot of red. Stenhouse, forget it, starting 8th, right? Gilliland, forget him. But it's a lot of red.
Dillon's finishes are only because he was in a bit better of equipment than he is now. And
yeah, we love Ty Dillon for years, but he's kind of not that guy anymore.
That car is actually kind of shit. And seriously, like when you punt all the way down to the bottom with Ty Dillon, it's like I know his car is shit, right? I know he's going to finish like 31st. It's just frustration. That's kind of like how with the tight pricing of the slate and just the lack of value, it kind of makes. I mean, look at Haley. Haley's not like in the best spot here, right? Finished 21st in the fall here. That was his first ever decent finish. Like at this track type, not good, but he's going to be popular because there's like no plays. There's no plays in the 5K range. Where are the plays?
When I ran the Dom station, I was just telling you this before. Yeah. It was shoving Justin Haley up my ass, and I'm like, I don't even want this guy. Why is he everywhere? Why is it this guy? And now I'm seeing it because there's
just a drought. There's a complete drought here.
It's such a dearth. And then your next man up is Killer Priest up here at 6400.
Chandler Smith, right? And Chandler Smith's making his Cup debut, and you already know how I feel about guys making their Cup debut. But starting dead last, even if he gets like 5 pit penalties, I guess it doesn't matter all that much. But I also don't know how a third colic car is going to run out there. 250 to 1, I don't know.
This is going to be tricky.
We'll play a lot of Priest.
And some guys are priced down. Here's an interesting one. Well, I want to talk about Ty Gibbs. He's another guy. I think he's going to be under the radar. But let's get into looking at, again, we just take a quick look, like who's good here, who's bad, and you can kind of see Logano. Blaney's been great. That's the thing.
Yeah, this track type, he's been awesome. He just cannot win because he's allergic to winning.
Yeah.
But like, he'll be out there leading laps, dominating, doing all this stuff. He just can never finish the job.
Is Chris Buescher in the conversation this week, starting 7th?
Chris Buescher led 160 laps at Bristol. I mean, anything can happen.
Is this the guy that's going to win somebody a tournament, and we're going to full fade that shit, and just like, that's going to be the guy? Is it Chris Buescher?
Yeah, I mean, potentially. Like, if you run this race 100 times, that probably happens like once, twice. I don't know.
Could be him.
Probably not. Most likely not.
It could be.
Fingers crossed.
It could be.
I mean, 30 to 1 odds. Like, he's actually like priced up like decently.
He's so expensive relative to where he's starting.
A well-deserved price bump for him. He's been running incredibly well.
He also finished 3rd here. He's been good this year. All right, so let's get right into it from the top down.
Yep.
Willie B, most expensive. Him and Harvick have the best win odds. Their top 5 odds are really strong.
Williams has been that guy this season for real.
He has been that
guy.
He
won at Phoenix, although you could argue that Larson is obviously better than him at Phoenix, but he was like right there with Harvick as like the second dog. He was just there at the end. Should have lost to Harvick. Harvick should have won that race, but bygones be bygones there. So yeah, Byron, probably most people would expect him to be the top guy. I mean, we've kind of seen like flashes of form from him before, and then that not really stick. But this season, it does seem like he's on a whole other level. Problem is, it's so hard to afford him at 11K. So hard. But if you just run like the DS route, of course, you're not gonna get any Byron. I don't think. Like,
you didn't get him.
Everyone below him is like higher projected, right? But like, You have to set a minimum for him. You have to.
I had to force it.
Starting third, and with kind of some fake pole sitters starting ahead of him, I don't know, like he could easily lead like all of stage one. He could lead 200 laps here.
It could be Kyle
somewhat
Busch
easily.
too.
Probably like the top option to lead 200 laps. And so you have to account for that. But I mean, overall, not really, not the best just overall play. Like if we were to run this thing 100 times, he misses a lot of the time. I'm sure he's so expensive. You have to make so many sacrifices to get to him. But having no exposure to him sounds like kind of a death sentence. So I mean, you will need some Byron.
Man,
starts on the inside, which is preferred here, with the teammate right in front of him. Yeah, that's kind of the problem with like a Kyle Busch, I guess, starting second, at least initially, like off the rip. But I mean, I think we saw that yesterday in Xfinity. The guy that started second ended up dominating. Does happen.
It could happen. Kyle Busch could be that guy too, and he's not going to be highly owned. He's got to be in your mix. But Kevin Harvick, I think, might be the. I kind of think, can he lead? Is he like going to lead laps?
Well, he dominated this race the last time that we went here. He dominated at Phoenix. Should won that race.
Different vehicle.
Yep. Well, I mean, if you want to look at the same car, he also dominated at Phoenix. Like, you know what I mean? With the new package, like he's kind of shown on both ends here. That's why he's priced up the way he is. That's why he's a co-favorite. Yeah. I think it's kind of like a kind of an old take at this point to go, well, Harvick doesn't really lead laps, doesn't really get fast lap. I mean, he clearly does now at this point. He's got to be up there in the mix for sure. I don't know. Like Prize Picks absolutely adores him, giving him all the props, giving him tons of laps led, fastest laps.
Quick look at Prize Picks. They only gave 2 options for laps led, and it's Byron and Harvick, which is, what the hell, right? I guess so. Just an interesting strategy. If you're gonna, you can't play both, so it's kind of stupid. But like I was gonna say, it'd be if I could play 2 tickets, like fastest laps and laps led on the same name, that'd be nice. But whatever.
Here's the thing:
they're only giving you these.
I know you don't want to play both, but like if Byron leads all of like stage 1 into stage 2, and then Harvick leads the rest, if you don't have that combo, you're dead in the water. You make $0. At least in GPP.
I didn't see a single spot on Prize Picks that I felt comfortable with. You're better off, by the way, just going with Fantasy Score on some of these. But let's get back to this here. And guys, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, like this kind of breakdown, do us a favor, smash the like button. Do it. Do it now. Let us know.
Gently press that like button.
You gotta hit the like button.
Okay, you gotta smack it.
Gotta smash the like.
Treat like a dirty little bitch.
Awesome. I wasn't going to go there, but I'm okay.
I will.
All right. So Harvick starting 10th. He's got to be in your mix as well. Dominator potential. I mean, it's just it goes on and on. So Larson starting 9th. I feel like,
Larson's average running position at Phoenix was first.
That's pretty good.
He led all the laps.
He owned Phoenix. Ends up.
Does not really have the track history, though, compared to a lot of these guys. And that's the problem. Usually these Hendrick guys aren't like a big factor here. Yeah, look at the driver rating game versus similar drivers.
So, Richmond, I wanted to point this out.
Has struggled.
Larson has not traditionally been good here. Byron hasn't. The guys.
Look at Toyota. Yeah. They just stand out.
Yeah, I mean, like, look at this, right? These are the ones that I like this stat because this tells you who just is much better here than you normally would have them be. And it's Bell, Hamlin, Truex, Kyle Busch a little bit, which is surprising.
He was a Toyota until now.
Yeah, I guess. And Joey Logano. Like these guys are palpable, are demonstratively better here than they are in other tracks. And that for me is something I really, really like. The problem is none of these are starting in Dominator position except for Kyle Busch.
Yeah, who's no longer a Toyota owner.
Yeah, I mean, does that really make that much of a difference? Like, what's so special about, I guess it's called the Toyota owners, but What the
They've
hell?
just got the best setups for this place they have for quite a while. It's just JGR, really.
Yeah, different car. Different car.
No,
It's a new car.
yeah, but I feel like a track like this, that stuff kind of matters a lot. 'Cause they've been through many different cars here. They're still very good.
All right, let's keep hammering through here. So obviously Kyle Larson in that Dominator mix as well. I think what do you do here? And we're gonna go through a bunch of these, and I just want to like get a broad-based thought, approach going here. So you've got 400 laps to go around. If you don't have a Dominator, you don't win. There might be two Dominators. If you don't have both of them, you don't win. So
I think I'm just gonna let. I mean, I don't think this about pretty much any other track really. I mean, this would probably be the one track where I just kind of let track history do its thing. I'm very anti track history usually. This track though, I don't know. I feel like it's going to lean more in the way of track history, and I think I'm going to let the Hendrick guys be. I think a lot of people are going to kind of do that as well. For better or worse. I know they were like the absolute shit at Phoenix. Even after they was caught cheating, and if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
So you want to
But
load up on Toyota?
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna load up on the Toyotas, kind of like maybe even some of like the potentially lower owned ones like Truex I'm really feeling. And then, Bell, lock him in the cash game lineup, honestly. I really want to play Bell, but man, I think he's gonna be so popular. And like we were saying earlier, maybe he doesn't lead like a bajillion laps, which I really want the guy that leads a bajillion laps. I don't know about you, but I kind of want that 150 fantasy point score in my lineup.
You
So I'm
have
not
to.
really looking at Logano, not really looking at Blaney. Even Larson has like almost never led laps here.
Let's look at the scores. If I would have
Yeah, I
made a
want that.
copy.
Okay, it's not going to be like the 2014, 2015s anymore. But I mean, if there's going to be a 190, shoot, I want that guy.
190. What? He led the whole thing. Start first, finish first. Start second, finish first. Start third, finish first. I mean, you know what? If I had made a copy and could sort this, I should have done that. I wasn't thinking. But, start 17, 125 fantasy points. Look at these scores. So let's see what the lowest kind of score you need to be in a winning lineup. And so 50, 49.5, high 50s. And yeah,
like 50 is about that number you want.
So 50 for your worst spot. And you're talking, 70, 80, 120, depending on how many laps led here. So you really do have
definitely not 50 for your worst spot, though. I feel like to be optimal. I mean, obviously, a lot of the expensive guys are going to be in the top 6, but this is definitely a place where there's got to be some punts along the way.
There could be. This could be that time. So we're going to try to identify those sort of like sub 8K drivers that we might be able to squeeze a few of them into some lineups together that'll deliver those 40s. But maybe this is the time when that happens. I would disagree here, Stars and Scrubs, in the sense that you don't want too many scrubs. You definitely don't really want any scrubs, and you don't want too many middling either. So I don't know about, like I said, you don't want any scrubs for the most part, I think, here. Take that Ty Dillon silly shot. But other than that, these guys are going to be laps behind. You need everybody. So, all right, little bet for you. Or I want to know, before we continue, we're going to talk about the rest of these drivers. I got a bet for you, Taco.
What's up?
A challenge.
Let's go.
Does the winning lineup contain a driver that is a lap down or worse?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Certainly. I think you're going to have to punt at least once. Even like Haley is probably going to finish a lap or two down. And even if you finish you can finish like 20th and be a lap down. You can finish 15th and be a lap down here, How
about 2 laps down?
I mean,
is that I want to know where
I feel like we just had this happen in Phoenix.
Where's the differentiator?
I don't know. Probably. It depends. If the thing goes green the entire way, which we haven't really been seeing, and there was no practice, so there's probably going to be, Maybe like one or two early cautions because people are like, oh, my car doesn't work. It falls apart immediately. I didn't know that. I would have known that in practice. I mean, that sort of thing's going to happen. Probably to a 50% owned guy. But I don't think we'll even have 50% owned guy. I don't even think we'll have like a 45% owned guy.
Yeah, I'm not seeing like
I don't even think we'll have a 40% owned guy. This is just one of those slates.
Blaney, I think, is going to be that guy, by the way. You get in
I think people will be scared of his history here. It's not good.
Oh, I mean, what? What's so bad about it? 10th?
Bad. He's led like no laps ever, and like 7th was his best finish ever. He's just not really much of a Toyota owner, you know?
Driver rating gained is horrific.
Yeah.
So he has not been good short flat at all, and he's going to be super high owned. So that should be really interesting too because of the price. All right, let's continue on here. So we talk about the Toyotas: Bell, Hamlin, Truex, right? Bell starting 21st. Hamlin and Truex 11th and 12th. Would we say like lead laps are obviously a little more attainable for these guys? Do you see either of these guys really dominating this race, getting to the lead?
Yes.
How much do I have to account for that?
Yes.
Yes.
These guys are the kings of this track, bro. Like, they're almost not to the extent of like Harvick at Phoenix, but like it's damn near guaranteed these guys are pushing their way up to the front. I'd say Hamlin more so than Truex. I mean, Hamlin always factors into this race, like always.
He's had a good history here. There's no doubt. Going back a long way, but did not really do that much.
Yeah, this track type in general. No, and then, I mean, so that finish, by the way, both of their finishes kind of have like their Phoenix finishes at least. They both kind of have some apostrophes on them. Like Hamlin just had to pay back Ross Chastain for the Hail Melon. He actually got fined for like running into him intentionally. Truex was actually just kind of slow, but he did have like a penalty on like one of the final laps at Phoenix that put him a bit farther back than they should have been. But really, they ran like 10th, you know, not impressive at all at Phoenix. That's kind of like the one gripe we have with both of these guys. Yeah, I've kind of made up my mind that I'm going to let track history kind of prevail here a little bit. And this will be like the one track all season I do that with. But if, you know, the Phoenix angle is the one that wins out in the end, just whoever is fast at Phoenix in this package is fast here, then yeah. I would probably make lineups accounting for that sort of thing and just kind of make one where like, you know, the guys that are really fast at Phoenix, I'll load up on those guys, and then just like one where it's more track history based or whatever.
We're coming up on somebody who smashed in Phoenix and is not going to be owned. So we'll get to that in a second. Kyle Busch starting second, right?
This is your YOLO Dominator here.
9-1, right? He gets in there. Low owned. Why? I don't know. Right? Hasn't been the greatest here. 15% ownership projection. That's low.
I guess that's just the last 2 or 3 years with Toyota, they're very, very unimpressive runs here. Like highly unimpressive, considering where his teammates are. You can see his teammates are the 3 guys on top of him, so it's very easy to compare how they were running top 5 while he was finishing 9th every year. I mean, he's had his share of success here in the past, obviously. Hell yeah. We in Virginia.
You gotta force some Kyle Busch. You gotta.
Yeah, you definitely have to have some, obviously, because if he leads, I mean, he could lead for a while.
Yeah, you just gotta catch the Dominator. Catch the Dominator.
RCR has never really done well here, like at all. I mean, you've got Dylan finishing like maybe 15th, you know? Hamlin and Truex can be chalky. Hamlin especially is always chalky at Richmond, no matter what. Every single race you come here, he's always been high owned.
I am not seeing this. Like the ownership projection just doesn't really have. I don't think you need to worry about chalk here. The ownership projections just are not showing.
Not like 40% owned chalk or something. It's gonna be spread out.
Yeah,
and you can blame Hendrick for that.
I'm not worried about it.
Usually bow out here, but yeah,
I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about this chalk because no one looks to be all that chalk. Just get it right.
Yeah, we're not even really eating chalk here. Everyone's kind of still spread out.
Don't think about the chalk today. All you got to think about is which 2 drivers are going to dominate this race and what approach do I need in my lineup building to make sure that I get enough combinations of 2 that I'll have that duo in a bunch of lineups together with some various like build arounds, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, if it winds up Bowman leading a whole bunch of laps, and then, you know, Bell taking over late, I just want to make sure that I, you know, if I'm running 150, that I've got like, you know, 15, 20 of that combination, or 10, and then hopefully within the 10, the other names will make it work. But if you if you have a lineup that doesn't have the 2 dominate, or 1, but I think it's going to be 2, then you ain't winning shit. It doesn't matter. That's the only lineup that's going to matter on everything that you build to try to win this tournament. So that's how I'm mentally approaching it. So, you know, Kyle Busch talked about Joey Logano starting 18th. Taco has a win at Phoenix.
Yeah, he cheated to get that win, actually.
So I don't care if my guys cheat.
I love it. Yeah. If you're playing DraftKings, hell yeah, brother. We're all about that. But
I prefer a driver.
Yeah. Penske would kind of be that second best org here behind, I mean, far behind, but still behind JGR. We've seen Keselowski do really well here in the past. We've not really seen it from Blaney, but we've also seen Logano consistently do really well. Top 5 threat pretty much always. I would prefer Logano over Blaney this week.
Interesting.
Certainly. The problem is that the pricing is really going to make everyone want to play Blaney.
Logano 19-1, 3.5. So same win odds, same finish odds for Blaney and Logano. Logano starting 18th
now,
for 9,400.
Logano struggled at Phoenix, which is where he won the championship last fall. So that could be a point of contention for him, I guess.
Pretty jerky of DraftKings to lower the price a little bit for Blaney, but I get it. But again, we're not seeing this massive discrepancy in the ownership projection.
But pricing, honestly,
it might not play out like this. Yeah. All right. So Logano, yes, sure. Blaney, for sure. Blaney has just been, you know, like I said, he's been good at the short tracks, even if it hasn't been that good here.
If anyone's due for a win, Jesus Christ, is Blaney due? He's stupid due, but like he's just not really a winner.
No, Steve. No, exactly.
He'll win at Texas or some bullshit.
You want to do at least 2 Dominators today, I think. But we'll Taco.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah,
at least 2 for sure.
Yeah, at least 2. You don't want exactly. Exactly is going to eliminate a third potential Dominator, and you don't want to do that.
If it's anything like Phoenix, I mean, Phoenix had like 80 less laps, and there were 3 Dominators.
Yeah, definitely not exactly. That is too restrictive. You want at least 2. So here's the guy I really want to talk about, and that's Alex Bowman. On the pole sitter traditionally smashes here. Ownership not very high.
Nope, I don't. Yeah, I've done a lot of studying with how people treat pole sitters in the past, and when it's like kind of an undeserved one like this, I mean, they're gonna get their ownership. You won't be completely unowned, but I think people are way more likely to go with Byron leading initially, of course. And Bowman, I mean, if he wasn't starting on the pole, we wouldn't really even be talking about him here. Now he does have the win from a few years ago.
But he got the pole because
he's been finishing well at races this season, and he finished pretty damn decently at COTA. And yeah, the algorithm was like beep boop, Bowman on the pole.
Bowman a little less good here than at a normal track. So
Hendrick very nondescript of this track. This is not one of their pop-off tracks at all. This is, they let the Toyotas own this track, but starting on the pole with a teammate pushing from behind, he does have a solid case to lead a good chunk of laps to start the race. Now, if this is like $8,500 Bowman like we're used to, then yeah, sure. I think that would be enough. I think he's going to get past eventually, though. Again, very fake pole sitter, but he could potentially lead up like 50-some laps here off the rip. Well, let's just finish decently, which is something he's kind of been like pretty decent at doing lately.
Let's math this out a second, right? So he leads 50 laps, right? Off the pole. He gets it. But this is not the fastest driver, not the best driver. 16-1 odds. His win odds are very low. His top 5 odds are not in the top group at all. So, but he could do it. But
I mean, like I haven't projected out there. I gave him like 46 lead laps. His average amount of fast laps finishing 9th. Still hangs in there for a top 10. Does his thing. There's only 43 points.
Yeah, he doesn't get you there. This
I
is
don't
what I'm
want.
saying. Like,
Yeah, I don't like him, but I will have like 5-ish% of him just in case he leads like 100 plus to start the race. I think what fucks him is the lack of practice. Someone's gonna fuck something up early in this race, and it's gonna be something that's preventable in practice. We see this all the time, and they'll throw a caution, and with the rain and everything, I don't know.
The restart.
I think he'll get shuffled up a little bit early. I mean,
so
more likely than not.
But if that didn't happen, he could lead an entire, he could lead 50, 60 laps until whatever that first pit. And even
it's like 70 laps at first stage.
Yeah, it's dangerous. Now another
upside there.
Another name. This one's really interesting for me, Tyler Reddick, because he's in that Toyota. It's the Toyota owners make this.
The more steep a track is, the more we like Tyler Reddick. Unless it's a road course, that we just like him all the time, I guess.
Yeah, it just hasn't been the greatest here, but the ownership is reflective of it. Has pretty mediocre to bad history here. Again, he's
been good at spring Phoenix races, but that is it. Other than that, it has been putrid from him, these tracks.
It's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Dangerous. Blaney.
That's why I was sussed out of Kyle Busch, too, because, Kyle Busch had taken over that car that he was just shit in at these tracks.
And by the way, and Reddick...
Well, that may be more of a Reddick problem. Reddick can't really ride the wall here. That would be ridiculous.
But what if Reddick is fine? So this would be my alternate point. What if Reddick is fine? He was, now he's got the Toyota.
Bro, then add like a 12th guy that could dominate this race. I don't know. I don't want to have to balance. I don't want to spread it out between like 12 dudes is the problem.
What if it's him?
Yeah, I'll just let him beat me this week. I don't really care.
If he's not leading the race, he's not winning you any money. By the way, I would suggest that especially anybody in the top 5, like if you're not leading and you're this expensive on this track without much salary,
place differential ain't gonna get you there, and it's super hard to get place differential anyway.
Too many points to go around for the Dominators. It's so much more valuable than place.
Too much single file action.
It's going to be trouble. Okay. It's going to be trouble for my standard approach. All right. So Blaney, we already talked about him, will be chalky starting 17th. And just because he's priced down a smidge. But again, no lead lap at 8,800. It's not that good. Not the best scene.
Yeah, I'm going for the ownership fade of Blaney here. Now, do I think he'll finish better than his track history shows? Man, probably. He's been so good, his track type in general. But do I think he dominates the race at all? No. And he's 8,800. And that's, I'm going to leave him. I'm not even playing him in cash. I ended up finding a way to get Logano instead. I'm way more confident about Logano than Blaney. So it's kind of a bait play this week, honestly. I'm not really biting it.
All right, that's fair. And he can't burn you really. In order to burn you, he needs to finish probably top 3 or 4. 19 to at this price,
lead laps, I think.
With no lead laps, I'm talking about probably like 4th he'd need.
I guess, but if like Byron and Harvick dominate the race, then there's no way you're getting Blaney anyway. Even if he has like a good finish or something. I don't know. Just barely expensive enough. Look
at the number. It's 20% to finish top 5. If he doesn't finish top 5, you are not winning any money here. So, this guy who's going to be 30-40% owned, but only,
and optimizers will love him too. So in like optimizer contests, like 150 maxes, definitely not going to play Blaney.
There it is. Hang on. Blaney was popping like crazy.
Yep.
Look at this.
Because his mean projection is really good.
Got to deal with that.
Yeah.
We'll get to the Dom Station questions. I feel like
love our domination station. You're the best. You're the greatest. Not an optimizer week for me, at least.
Well, I don't like the sound of that, but it's always an optimizer week. Dude, we sell access to an optimizer here.
Well, of course. I wouldn't live
Don't
without
tell the people it's not an optimizer week.
Right.
When we're selling access. No, we're not selling. We're providing. But let's just take a I will get to that. So who's the potential? Do we need to add anyone? No.
You just got to use a bunch of just got to use a bunch of rules. You can get in the right spot.
Yeah, you can. You got to force at least 2.
Yeah, at least 2 doms, definitely.
But no, there's no one to add. There's legitimately no one to add. You need 2 from this group, and there's just no one that you want to add to this.
Yeah, the Toyotas start just high enough.
And like Ty Gibbs, maybe we'll get to him.
Oh, hell no.
I think no.
He needs friends.
McDowell, no.
He has no friends.
Polo, unfriend you. You know what I'm saying? Like this is.
You can't quit him. See, I knew it.
Could Todd Gilliland actually? Let me ask you this as we're looking here. Could one of these shitters? Wait, hear me out. One of these shitters that's starting kind of not that far back. What if they just hang around? Like, what if Todd Gilliland is like 10th place at the end or 13th place at the end, and he's 5,200?
Yeah, I mean, if there's any track where that strategy were to work, it would probably be a track like this one.
Like normally we don't.
Probably more of like him finishing 18th, but yeah, I could see it. Usually these guys are only going to finish top 15 because there's a lot of carnage, and we're not really going to get that here.
Yeah,
but
I was just thinking,
I just don't think there's a Logano's going to be like, damn, I just can't get past Gilliland. Man, it sucks to be me. I'm just driving behind him. Like I don't think that's going to happen. And there's just too much of a difference in speed there.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
Those guys will get bullied at a short track too. That's like the problem I have with Ty Gibbs. Like he's such a bullyable person. Like I've seen every time the short track so far. The kids are gonna get bullied.
I'm grasping at straws.
It helps them grow.
Yeah. Joe Gibbs is like,
if anything, it would be Chris Buescher doing that shit.
Teach my grandkid a lesson. Chris Buescher is not cheap though, so that doesn't help us.
Yeah,
but
at this point, he's just gotten pretty good.
He's priced the same as Ross Chastain. Excuse me, this is like you're playing an NBA slate, and it's like Giannis and Andre Drummond, like somebody who's not very, who's just like what, just a regular. Priced as a stud, and how are Chastain and Buescher?
Yeah, I know, right?
Price, like what is going on here? And Chastain's got all the. I mean,
Chastain's got to be like the better version of the Reddick play. I think this week, like he's shown absolutely nothing at this track, sure, but I think that there's potential there. I mean, last year, yeah, Trackhouse fucking sucked here, both races bad, but I mean, there's still a new org, right? Like. There's a chance that they've got something there. I wish we could have seen practice. That would be convenient. That would be nice.
Practice would have been
the front. I think he is a good alternate cheap Dominator. If you want to make 3 Dominators, I think Chastain is a decent play. I do. Even though he's not shown much here at all. Last season, this was like the one track where Trackhouse looked like shit. But, I think if there are any of these outside Dominators to have a chance, Chastain would be a pretty decent one. He's kind of like showing chops everywhere.
He's Chastain.
And he's cheap.
He's good. All right, guys. If you haven't done it by now, hit the damn like button and drop a comment on which of these Dominators you think is going to lead this race. Who's going to get us?
Yeah, who's going to get us 200 laps?
Let us know. Who do you think is going to be that guy? Is it a shocker? Is it Willie B? You're just going with the chalk. Who is going to lead this race? Let us know in the comments here, guys. Come on. All right. We talk about Chastain. I like Chastain, low owned, and I don't like him. There's nothing that stands out other than he's Chastain and he's cheap. And why? You know what I'm saying? Chris Buescher, I have a feeling this is that guy I said at the beginning that you just want to unfriend. He's starting 7th. Nothing stands out here other than he was pretty good last year for one of these races. Hasn't been great on the short tracks per se, but no one's going to own him, and he's a potential Dominator.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take like a repeat of like his Bristol performance basically, but I think enough people own him that I don't really care. He's definitely a guy I'll let beat me because I have to let so many people go. I can't. He's not a straw I'm willing to grasp at this week, although I do love me some Chris Buescher in general.
Yeah. Now, Keselowski's got a great history of this track.
Might as well take the same car starting 24th
Yeah.
for $100 cheaper. That seems more appealing to me.
With the driver, note the difference here. Driver rating gained stat. Not good for Buescher, but very, very good for Keselowski. So, like, look at this. He's gaining 10 points on his driver rating on this type of track.
Yeah.
Has a history of fast laps here and some lead lap, and
Yep.
And Buescher is the opposite. He gets
And we
worse.
saw this Roush Keselowski Fenway group do really well at the short tracks to end the year, especially like Bristol. Like these guys are absolutely cooking.
Yeah, you're going to get, by the way, a lot of this Chandler Smith. When you run the DOMs, I'm telling you,
Hey, we'll get there.
You've got to be careful. You got to be careful.
We'll get there with the scrubs. This is what the scrubs would make this like kind of like infuriating. But
yeah,
trust
you
me,
got to be careful.
We'll get there.
So Keselowski, I think, is a yes. Why not? Starting 24th, he finds a way. He finds a way to get it done. And just 8,300 is again teetering on the edge of maybe a little too expensive for just like a place diff guy when we need Dominator. I don't think Keselowski is going to dominate at all. I don't see him in first place just leading laps.
Yeah, this would be the first like actual place differential play on the board, and it is still kind of expensive for place diff.
D-Swizz, who I always love, is absolutely putrid here.
Yeah, and a lot of those finishes were in Joe Gibbs equipment. I mean, granted, he got like, the fourth best Joe Gibbs car typically, but like that's the only Joe Gibbs car I've ever seen like suck ass here. I don't know. I can't find much to like at all about Suarez. Starting 20th, but 8K, nah, not really feeling.
Josh Berry in a very good vehicle. Decent odds here. Starting 30th.
We've seen stuff from him now. We can play.
I mean, he's
starting Phoenix. Good job, Barry. And he crushed the Xfinity race. Looking great out there. So starting 30th. Yeah, I think me and Brady both love him this week. This is a place differential play right here. We're okay with this because this is a good car too.
He's in Chase Elliott's vehicle. Got a couple of races of experience now because he's driven it for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and we saw in Xfinity when he made the jump there, he almost immediately made an impact. He didn't need a whole lot of reps to start going. So might see something similar here in the Cup Series.
Briscoe's another one right underneath him. Now, I do pay attention to the drop in odds.
Yeah. This is where you will see that drop off for sure. That's why this mid-range is not appealing, really.
Well, we're gonna have to have some. We're gonna be exposed to it.
Yeah.
But I think we might want to get it from these bigger place diff plays. Somebody mentioned this group here, and I do think this is an important group. Almirola, Dillon, not Briscoe, Bubba, a little bit Bubba, I guess.
Yeah.
But let's start with Briscoe. So starting 19th. Good history. I mean, recent short track finishes have been pretty good.
Yeah, he showed speed in this package. He gets, the setup straight from Harvick, which is, that's quite the hookup here.
It's not bad. It's not a bad spot for 7,800 starting 19th. I'm okay with it. I don't think he's going to be. He might fall laps behind. Briscoe can go either way. You know how Briscoe is. He can go either way. He just either sucks.
I mean, yeah, his 1.5 mile package this year was complete ass, but I mean, he showed a lot of speed at Phoenix. Like, he was pretty impressive. Now, is he just good at Phoenix? Potentially, but I don't know. This is decent, a little sporty. I don't really like Briscoe starting 19th most weeks typically, but you have a little exposure here. Like, Stewart Haas actually has like a really, really good odds. This is like the best odds I've seen Stewart Haas have in like an extremely long time, like years. And then Almirola, I mean, he's starting way back there, and he's got like a history of like sneaking into top 10s here. I kind of like Almirola at these like breaking, shorter tracks, but
I feel like Almirola.
The problem is he's starting so far back, he may get stuck like a lap down. Like, that's the real danger with starting in the 30s at this track.
Almirola has been destroying lineups all season.
Yeah.
And last
one
season.
way or another.
It's been 2 years worth of Almirola just destroying lineups.
Yeah, but like destroying them by you fading him and he finishes 5th at Gateway, or destroying him by like you going crazy on him when he's starting 30th and he finishes 28th. Yeah.
Both. It's just when you play him, he's shit. When you don't,
which is weird because I mean, for years and years, he was like that. He was like my most reliable driver. But yeah, kind of is what it is. He's expensive-ish now. I mean, we were getting him at 5-6K for a minute there. But yeah, he's a bit priced up here. So I'm not feeling this mid-range as much, really.
They didn't give us many breaks here. Hopefully we'll find some spots here in the lower range. There are a couple that will open up some salary, but man, it's scary. Bubba Wallace just has not been good here at all. I did a little scroll over, and the rating goes down.
Yeah, the driver rating gain versus similar drivers helps if people have changed equipment a lot like Bubba Wallace has, and you want to compare their performance that year to about what they were expected to do given, their strength that they had overall in the season. So like it's accounting for the fact that he was in like petty equipment for a lot of this. And yeah, just not really a whole lot. I mean, he has the potential to finish like top 10. He does pretty much every week. And that Toyota usually gets in his own way, or just has like, he's been known to have like just some temper issues. Maybe doesn't have the most friends in the track, which, it's a reason I'm completely writing Ty Gibbs off. And, Bubba Wallace has made his fair share of enemies. It's short track racing that does come back to bite you a bit. I mean, there's some potential there. Like, he finished third at New Hampshire. It's a fairly similar track.
I like this comment. Almirola is a modern day Pullman.
On God, that's
so true.
That's so actually a great comparison.
Yeah, it's so true.
With the reliable sponsorship and everything, like that's such a good comparison.
That was a good one. Ty Gibbs, I love Ty Gibbs, but he hasn't been very good. Listen, by the way, I want to note that Bubba Wallace's ownership 23%. It makes sense. He's starting 28th and
way back there.
He's got good win odds. I mean, as if you trust the odds.
He's in a Toyota. Toyota owner 400.
Toyota sends out a note. They're like, listen, it's the Toyota owner 400.
They actually must be doing that, like, for real. They've had way too much success here.
Yeah, well, like, we're not here to screw around, guys. This is our track. If we don't own this, we're gonna have problems. So
any of the Penske-owned tracks, like
Ty Gibbs is almost unplayable. Almost. I mean, he's not even in a good starting spot. He's got no threat of domination. He's always throw in. He's in a good car, or whatever.
I don't think the Cup veterans will even let him lead this race. Like, it's never gonna happen.
Nepotism. They're all nepotisms.
He's got such a punchable face. I don't know.
No one frowns.
He's also just been a dick to everybody. Like,
is that what it is? Like, because no one frowns.
Yeah, dude.
Is he like he's a douche in real life too?
Yeah.
No one frowns on
him for something every other week. I don't know.
Like, half of these assholes are here because.
Oh yeah, I don't think it's not even that. It's just the fact he's a douche.
Yeah, it's not that. Austin Dillon though. All right, starting 27th. Okay, track history, not bad. He's been fine. Not great this year.
He finds his way in the top 10 a lot.
I'm fine with this play. I like Austin Dillon. I think that's a 7,200 is a number. He's going to stay on that first lap. This is one of those guys I think go a little bit little higher on. There's some cheaper guys that this is
where I'm starting to pile, because you have to play some of these guys, right? I'm starting to pile it on to like Dillon over. Like,
I've also got a sneaky. Another guy that might hang around and shock you onto that nuts coming up in a second. But I like Austin Dillon a little bit. AJ, and Austin Dillon, by the way, again, as we scroll over, you'll see he does improve on the short flat track. Like, his numbers get better. One guy whose numbers get worse by a lot is the Dinger.
I mean, there's a little bit of a sample size issue there because he took those years off. So I'm pretty sure he's only got like one race that counts for that. But yeah.
All right. Well, I don't like one race worth of stats. So
exactly. But even before, like, he's not doing a whole lot.
Yeah, he's not that good here. I kind of and the odds don't like him. This is a not a good.
He's also just an over aggressive asshole a lot of the time, which isn't really at a track like this where it's going to go green for a long time. You want to be smart and conservative and manage your tires. That's why a lot of the old guard is coming through here, like Harvick, Truex, Hamlin. Those guys are really who you'd expect to do well here.
Maybe
it's hard to pile onto a lot of these younger guys. That's why I'm liking guys like.
How many laps here until you have to pit? The tires are getting worn. What is the average? Like, when are they pitting? Is it 40 laps, 30, 50?
I know this. I have this. Hold on, let me pull it up. It's like, it's like 100.
100. Oh,
100,
my goodness.
like 110. Yeah.
Until you need to pit for the tires?
Yeah, for gas, really.
Yeah, I mean, that's ridiculous. So, yeah. So we're not going to get a lot of help. That's why it's one freaking liter the whole damn race.
Yeah,
all right.
and there just really aren't wrecks here. This is like one of the lowest carnage. This is probably the lowest carnage rate track of any track.
Taco, one of my sneaky plays, and he doesn't have any history or anything that would.
He doesn't even have a top 10 at this track type, but
no history, nothing backing this up at all. But Cindric, the odds are telling you something here, and they're telling you he's got. All right, I'm just going to tell you right now. He is 8%. You want to talk about ownership leverage? I did a video for March Madness where I pointed out, and I have videos about ownership leverage, and people should watch it. But if you want to win a DFS, this is what you need to understand. Little lesson here in DFS.
He could be
Austin Cindric has 9% implied probability of finishing in the top 5. 9%. He will not be 9% owned. If he finishes at 6,800 in the top 5, that's a 9% shot. He has, I would say, a 90% chance.
Let's do it. If he finishes fifth, that's 42. That gets the job done.
He is in the nuts at that price. By the way, if he does that, he probably got a couple fast laps along the way. He probably, if he hung around in the top 5. So to be clear,
doesn't run a risk of going laps down, really.
He's not going to go laps down. 68. Now, here's the thing. Obviously, we're trying to win a tournament. Austin Cindric moving back at all, like he goes from 6th place to 10th place, you don't win.
Yeah, that's 32.
Yeah, it ain't happening at 6,800. But I just want to point out, if this 9%, I'm not saying I know he's good or bad or anything, Taco. I don't fucking know. But what I do know is, if this 9% implied top 5 probability holds, he will be on the winning lineup and he will be under leveraged on the field.
Yeah, and he'll probably get fast laps on the way there too if he's really hanging up there. So I can see that actually.
Yeah, I'm not.
He's like a shot in the dark sort of play. But this, and then you factor in the fact that most of the guys in the 6K range are pretty bad. Okay, maybe the 6K range is the best example of that, because there are good plays there. There's a complete drought in the 5K range.
Yeah, and he's not that expensive. And like I said, this guy gives you a shot at holding the lead lap. He's giving you a shot at some pretty decent stuff here. So I mean, again, I think Cindric is just generally better than someone like McDowell or Gregson or these other guys. Who are starting even a little bit further back. So I think you should, if you're trying to win a tournament, but have some Cindric exposure. Not for any other reason than if he just hangs around and he hits this odds, which is not bad for top 10. Now, of course, Austin Dillon starting 27th has the same top 5 odds, so he's a much better play. But he'll be highly that's for good reason. Yeah. I'm saying Austin Cindric as a tournament only. Like Austin Dillon
could be like 4% owned, and I wouldn't be totally shocked.
Yeah, Cindric. That's right. I think you may have overestimated this. So
no, people really like to roster Cindric is the problem. Like I would expect it to be like 5%, but the data is showing he should be around 8 is the thing.
We'll see. But like I said, I think he's gonna be super low owned. You do the $40 contest, it's gonna be like 1%. The more expensive, the less you're gonna see of that guy. So I'm just saying, like, normally I don't like to start a guy starting 6th, who's like not a definitive domination threat, and I don't think he's a good play. I'm just saying, like, for tournaments, there is leverage to be had with Austin Cindric that you're probably not getting anywhere else. Like, that is one of the very few spots.
He'll have a decent pit stall too.
Yeah, there it is. What's his pit stall, and is that helpful? Is he up front?
I mean,
it's just based on your starting position. So, like, the higher ups get that better spot.
Yeah, basically.
All right, fine by me. We're about to get to some drivers that'll be really interesting, but I'll find this interesting. So when I did my run, Killer Priest is like up my ass, right? I'm getting him in every lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Jones, I'm getting nothing, and you have to force Eric Jones. Eric Jones, nothing special here.
Yeah, not really. I mean, but Eric Jones has been, kind of big dick lately, just overall. Yeah, this is. I mean, I kind of expect a little bit more going into it, and I look at the data. I'm like, oh yeah, he doesn't really show much of anything, which is weird because this track is kind of in a way similar to Darlington, kind of where he just absolutely murders it. But nah, he's been pretty ass at this track. Starting 22nd, it's just the plays around him are so much better. But yeah, the ownership's not gonna.
There is some ownership low. I thought Killer Priest would be
still
higher
retain
owned.
some ownership though.
This one's the weird one for me because to me, Ryan Priest is one of the better plays on the slate, starting 33rd. He's been great this year. Decent finish in short tracks. Doesn't have much history here, and you can't go by Priest's like old. He was in the Spire or whatever the hell he drove up until pretty much this season. But in the one opportunity he's had,
at Phoenix, he did well.
The guy did well. I love
Stuart Haas just did well.
I love the Priest play, man. I think he's going to be too low owned. If he's going to be 19% owned, that is too low. I'm going to be over the field. This is one of the few spots where I feel like I need to go over the field. Killer Priest, that's my guy.
Oh yeah.
Just hope he doesn't fall too many laps behind, but hopefully
a lot of people just get drawn into playing Chandler Smith after yesterday. Watching him just lead every lap in Xfinity. I don't know if that's like the best narrative to go off to, but I just go out of my way to find reasons to hate first timers. But yeah, the odds difference too.
Look at the odds drop. Yeah, I mean, like these two guys are starting. It goes from, his top 5% odds are effectively 2%, which is zero, basically. Once you were, if these guys are 1%, the 2% is basically zero. Also, Killer Priest way better than Chandler Smith. I think if you're going to play one, just play Priest. And the fact that Priest is projecting lower owned is actually joke. It's comical.
I think it's the fact that you had that 12th place finish at Phoenix. Everywhere else this season he's been complete ass, and I think that's like in people's minds a lot. But it's really only important to look at the Phoenix race. That's where he raced like this actual package at.
It's good.
It's like Briscoe, yeah. Is your 1.5 mile package trash? Yeah, but like that doesn't matter here.
He was good. He was good there. So Ryan Priest, yes. Chandler Smith, just that place diff is there. I don't know. Is this Cowling vehicle any good? Is his vehicle?
Yeah, we don't know. This is like the third Cowling vehicle they're adding for this race. So
yeah,
I expect it to be kind of
what my thing
not a zombie machine, but like
I would say
they want to give Chandler Smith a fair shot. He's definitely an up and coming star, that's for sure. But yeah, I just personally don't. I avoid first timers. I mean, I've said that a million times because they always make mistakes. But starting 37th, yeah, he's actually pretty playable because even if you get sent to the rear here, I mean, you're not gonna finish worse than like Cody Ware and shit. So I mean, he'll move up a bit, and he is really cheap. And there is such a drought. There's such a drought of value after this. Like it's unbelievably bad.
I mean, you have to sack up and just go higher on some of these Austin Dillon types than you normally might.
I might have to play like Ryan Gregson or something. It's like everyone's making me go with this because how much worse is that than like playing a bunch of Justin Haley?
I'll give you another name.
I don't know.
See, how about you go the opposite? You go low-owned Michael McDowell, who does not stand out, right? Except he's been pretty good at this track at least, or he did okay at Phoenix.
No, he's not good at this track.
No, not actually. He's terrible.
But he's decent at Phoenix, I guess. Yeah.
He loses a lot of. You know what? Yeah, no, you can't do that. No, this I always want to get a little different with it.
At this track.
Yeah, he actually sucks. That's no good. Gregson, pretty gross.
Yeah, but we haven't seen a whole lot out of Gregson, so maybe there's some upside hidden there. I immediately want to write this playoff, but given the drought in this 5K range, which we're going to want I mean, usually these tracks at 400, 500 laps, we're out there attacking that 5K, 4K range if we can, if there are plays, and sometimes there are. This week there are just none. And
I think
if you go too many high 7K plays, and you have to punt like 4 and get 2 DOMs, and that's not really the lineup construction I want. Like I want 3 DOMs. But in order to get that, you got to go through this range, and it's like, oof, do we really want to play this much Justin Haley? I don't know.
Man, I don't know either, but I got to tell you ain't playing much Ricky Stenhouse starting 8th. Just has not been good at this style of track either, and it's not a good scene with Stenhouse. And then of course it's Haley. Here's Haley standing out like a bit of a sore thumb here. 23%. He's the only driver. It's like Priest, Smith, Haley, or bust. Like these are unfriend yous across the board, except for one more. We'll talk about Alfredo in a second.
But Haley, significantly worse odds than like the 3rd team in your garage. I don't know if those odds are just because of Chandler's performance yesterday, but that's got to feel kind of rough. Yeah, he's never really showed anything at this track. I mean,
Haley, horrible track history. There's nothing that stands out about Haley. We scroll over, less good on on this track type.
Yeah,
there's no like bonus. You want to see the green. He's not horrible.
At least he's racking up 4 fast laps per Richmond race.
The rest of them, I get. Well, even
you just got to hope for a repeat performance the last time you finished.
Even Cody Ware is racking up a couple fast laps there.
Well, I mean,
he's everybody's getting a fast lap.
Richmond can be like that.
Everybody gets one. So this is a bad scene. So the only thing that really for me Haley has going for him is this number.
29th, and that number right there, 5,500. That really helps his case.
Man, another driver that keeps popping up in my lineups. Dooley's always looking. So hang on just a second. How many uniques? I run one unique for 150.
You can do like 20. I guess 2 uniques is okay, but
yeah.
I've always done one.
If you're doing 20, do 2 uniques. As far as randomness,
this is probably the lowest randomness that I would suggest out of any track.
5%,
like
maybe
5 to 10%.
Yeah, 5-10% range. Even that. Dooley always loves those bets. I don't know.
You don't bet on race day. You bet like 5 days ago.
We'll talk about that before, at the end here, and see if we'll throw a guess out there. But I do not have a bet on, unless Brady tells me who to bet, or Taco.
Yeah, we're Brady asset.
You guys are right. Taco's the go. Smash a like for Taco, the goat. Just
use code Taco. DFSarmy.com.
Or sign up for That's right. Sign up for DFS Army. Promo code Taco. By the way, if anybody's watching this who is not, a VIP subscriber, we have the MLB opening day thing going on right now. VIP 50% off the first month. So you get it for half the normal VI. It's like 35 or something like that. You should do that. Like you can get a month of VIP for $35 right now if you're not currently subscribed. So if anybody's watching, do that.
Every sport.
Yeah, it covers that. And Prize Picks. We're crushing Prize Picks right now. And by the way, if you guys are DFS Army subscribers and you haven't been fucking with Prize Picks, you should. It's a lot of fun. And, the team we have breaking it down is awesome. All right. Haley, Colo, Nolo for Colo here starting 16th. That's an unfriend you situation. Do not play 70% Larson. Caleb, come on, man. You got to make sure you're spreading out exposure to those dominators, bro.
What if I were to bait you into clicking on the finishes tab?
What do you got?
Look at Colo. This is the bait right here. And then you got to scroll down to Colo. You're down there.
Where is he? Where's Colo?
Look at his finishes this year. He's been so randomly good at anything that's not Phoenix.
Colo's been great.
Shocking season. I know.
He's my guy. I mean, he's been great. Atlanta 1.5 miles.
A track like this? Nah, bro.
No, this isn't for Colo. As much as I love Colo, I'm not. This ain't the spot. Not starting 16th.
500 to 1. Yeah.
Can you play Gilliland starting 13th? No. Right.
1,000 to 1. Yeah. No.
So the one name that I was going to ask about here is Fefo Alfredo.
And McLeod equipment. I mean, he's not much worse than Dylan, right? He's basically just Dylan, but more expensive. I mean,
why is he driving here? What I wanted to ask
it's
about,
a little bit better. Like
why is he here?
better
Does he
equipment.
always drive in Cup Series? Like, what is going on?
No, this is the first time we've seen him in a couple of years since he did that year for front row.
How's he even in this track? Why? What is like McLeod is like? Hey, let's go for it.
McLeod will let anyone drive. He probably brings sponsorship. Yeah, that's what it comes down to. It's kind of a rental ride. You could say the same about the 15 car too. We get to see JJ Ailey again, who has not been good.
Let me make it simple. Unfriend you, unfriend you, unfriend you, unfriend you, unfriend you, unfriend you, don't play these.
Now hold up.
You're gonna allow some Harrison Burton.
Ty Dillon is my frustration play. All right, let me have that.
No,
I hate the slate, but the slate's kind of bearable if you play Ty Dillon. I'm just saying.
No, it's
now
not.
Ignore the finishes. Ignore the finishes.
No,
here.
It's not.
Top 20 last year, but ignore that shit. Doesn't matter. He'll finish 31st. Okay, he's gonna finish 31st. He gets you like 16, 18 points, something like that, right?
Do you win with a 16? Has that ever happened? No.
I don't think that play matters. What I think matters is getting the guy who scores 80.
Well, I mean, 100. If I need to win the tournament.
Right.
All right. Let's go to the lowest, cheapest top fiver. Okay. Going back how many years that we can go. And it's a 47, Taco. It's a fucking 47.
But the top 6 and the top 5 definitely does not mean optimal at this track, because the top 5 is always going to be like a bunch of.
Oh, wait a second. Oh, these aren't the optimals. These are just the top 6 scorers.
No, they're not optimal. They're just the top 6 scorers.
They're even helpful. What the fuck?
Yeah, they're only helpful at super speedways.
Oh, all right. That ruins that. Okay.
No, yeah, this is my frustration play. You know what? Maybe he'll even fuck around and finish 29th, 28th.
It gets you like an 18. I guess that's one.
Try making lineups with him in your lineup, though. It becomes so much easier. You can get 3 DOMs, no problem. I don't
need
know.
3 DOMs.
Not a good play. Very much a frustration play. Like, fuck it, fuck this slate. I don't even want to win. I just want to cash. I'm
the
playing
move here. I really think, so just a little strategic discussion here, because we've gotten to the end. I think the move is to go actually really heavy on some of these like spots that we feel relatively confident about, like maybe an Austin Cindric, maybe a Ryan Preece, like go relatively heavy on these sort of, not Cindric, I'm sorry, Preece or Austin Dillon, like on these spots that like seem kind of
eat a little chalk there, because it's very unlikely the chalk is going to get spit out. I mean, it happens, but at this track happens less than any other.
Yeah, I think you just eat it a little bit, allow that affordability so that you can get more of the studs in your lineup and those two. All right, let's talk winner prediction. So let's do a win prediction here. I am not a fan of Dinger, by the way, for this one, but maybe what the price is, right?
That was his win prediction. He thinks
win prediction is Dinger. You know what? If you hit that, it's like fucking, what is it? 40 to 100 to 1.
Good luck with that.
100 to 1.
All right. I'm just going to say, I really hope Harvick wins this race.
You like Harvick?
He wins some sort of race this year.
Who would you bet,
though? He was absolutely robbed from that Phoenix win. He should have definitely won at Phoenix. Who am I betting?
If you had to throw at these odds, at the current odds, I guess no. I guess it doesn't matter if you're betting it. Just who's your win prediction?
I kind of want to say Truex.
Yeah, Truex.
But maybe
nostalgia.
Not even that nostalgic. Like, he just won this thing, but no, he's just been. He's there. I think he's there. I think his odds are a little bit better than Hamlin, Bell, Larson. Get paid a little bit more for that. Yeah,
you can make a couple more bucks on there. I'm going to go.
Realistically, I'm betting Kyle Busch to hedge from fading him in DFS. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, well, that's not the same. That's just a hedge.
But even then, he's just going to lead 100 laps and finish second. I lose both ways.
I don't have a prediction. I got nothing.
Damn.
I don't even have one. I was going to go with Logano for the 19 to 1 odds, just because, like, fuck it. Anybody can win. Why not? But no, I'm not even going there. I wouldn't bet it. So I'm not. I wouldn't bet it. I think it's Bell.
Yeah.
I think Bell gets there.
He's been knocking on the door here.
I think it's Bell. If I had to say anything, but I'm not betting it. Anyway, all right. That's going to do it. I didn't love anything really going on Prize Picks. Does anything stand out to you, Taco, before we kind of bounce here? Fantasy score for Harvick looks decent to me. No crashes. Are we going overs on the fantasy scores? Truex 48.5.
I think I would go under on Byron probably. But
no, this isn't.
That's just
no.
No, because if he doesn't catch the lead at all, yeah, that's easy. I don't think he was kind of 50-50 if he even grabs the lead or not at some point. There's just a lot of guys up front that maybe 50-50. He could be a little over.
To play a spot on Prize Picks, just to be clear.
Yeah.
I need
it has to be like 65.
That's the range.
Yeah, that's the problem I'm having. That's why I'm not too crazy confident about any of these plays.
Nothing popped for me. I was like, I don't like any of it because I got to be about 65% certain to even want to mess with it. Yeah, and some of these are just,
I would look at it as just like a good way to hedge from your exposures in DFS, but
yeah,
I can't play this shit anyway. Indiana is like, nah, fuck you. This shit's dangerous for your health. You can't play Prize Picks. Are you kidding me?
Oh,
this shit's illegal.
It's not even that. Like, yeah, Indiana's just weird like that. Every state. Indiana's a little weird state. It's also really expensive.
But sports gambling? Yeah, perfectly fine. That's fine. That's whatever.
Just bet it.
Yeah, just bet. Just go
No,
bet,
it's because you got to pay Indiana. This is the issue.
Yeah, they shake it down. They shake these little sites down.
State. You want to, and everybody's like, Indiana. I'm not paying to operate in Indiana. There's barely any people here. There's no customers here. It's like Fort Wayne. It's the big city.
I would say Indianapolis probably, but
yeah,
it's like what, 3 million of us? There's a few of us here. But yeah, we're dumb.
3 million. My town in like upstate New York has 3 million people.
Yeah. Well,
that's like just an unknown, nondescript unknown town I live in. How many people? About 3 million. It's not that many. I'm just kidding. Anyway, all right, that'll do it. We got a race coming up. We did an early one. So again, if you like what you saw here, please smash the like button, subscribe, notification bell, all that good stuff. This is the first time anyone anywhere has ever said these words. I love Fort Wayne.
Yeah, Stockholm syndrome right there. I don't know what to tell you.
4 words never been said ever. Dooley hit up Brady for those bets. He's, I'm sure he's got some tricks up his, but Brady's not going to like it either because Brady likes to see the practice. He likes to see the speeds. He wants to analyze something. It's harder to bet when you don't have any metric to go off of other than like.
Wouldn't practice have been nice? It is a short track. We'd have so many laps of data to go over, but
too much rain.
It is what it is. We're gonna like a guy, and they're gonna have a crucial part of the car fall off that would have just fallen off in the first lap of practice. I mean, you know how it goes.
2 Dominators, at least. Make sure you get the right 2 in your lineup if you want to try to win this tournament. It's that simple. You don't have the 2, there's going to be a 100-point score. If it's Truex and he's putting points on, you can just see it. 101, 102, 103. And you're like, wow, man, I'm not winning shit today because I don't have him. So make sure you get exposure to 2 potential Dominators and be right about the 2. And that's how you can win this thing. Sounds so simple.
Hell, I like 3, 4 if you can make it. Shit.
Yeah, I mean, get that third one in there.
That's probably kind of gross, but
I really do think. I kind of think 2 Dominators is what it's going to be. You can get that third one sneaking in, but if the third guy doesn't put up enough, then that salary differential, the 15-point Haley play is not going to get it for you.
Hey, I just think if there are 3 at Phoenix with 300 laps, I think there could definitely be 3 at Richmond at 400.
Yeah, no, it could happen. But if it's a 4th one and it's expensive.
There's no chance.
Let's say the third guy, though. Let's say the third guy is an 8,500. It's a Keselowski, it's a Chastain, one of those.
Yeah, it could happen.
You're fine, but if it's
if it's Larson, Harvick, and Byron, then I don't even think you can even do that.
That's what I'm saying. If it's that trio, then you need your Ty Dillon 12-point super punt, and that might work.
To be fair, Ty Dillon can't even score 12 points. It's not possible. I think he scores 14 at the least.
Oh, really? How is that?
Something
How's
like
that his
that.
thing?
Okay, maybe more like 8, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it could, he's starting last.
He's safe enough.
He could pass Gilliland.
Whoa! I'll tell you what. He's got shit on Cody Ware and JJ Ailey. Bet. Mark my words.
Yeah, but
he's gonna watch him.
We're looking at a 34th 34th place finish.
The cameras won't show that battle. That's why you got to go to the track.
Yeah,
you gotta watch the battle you want to watch.
For everybody going, have fun. A lot of the watchers were in the Richmond area, and we're going to this race. Steve Lynn's heading over there, and right, was that Steve? I think Tattoo Freak VA is not going to the race, but he's right down. Get over there, bro.
Yeah, sneak in.
Call DraftKings. Say, give me some free tickets. All right. Good luck today, everybody. We will see you at the top of those leaderboards. Deuces.
Hell yeah, helmets up.